Welcome back into the Friday edition of The Chat right here on Newsday Amarillo and News Channel 10-2. I am Alan Robertson.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Rhonda Launer.
And I'm Chuckalicious, Chuck Williams.
Yes, and it is, again, as mentioned, a very, very happy Friday. And with that, of course, we are joined by Mr. Daniel Armbruster with AAA. Daniel, how are we doing this morning?
Hey, good morning. Doing great here.
Absolutely, absolutely. Now with that, of course, with every Friday, we're getting ready for the weekend. Those who may be traveling or whatever the case may be, again, please be as safe as you possibly can whenever you're out there on the roads throughout this weekend. But talk to us a little bit about what's been going on as far as gas prices and things of that nature before we get out here on this weekend.
Well, some good news for those in Amarillo. It's $2.97 this morning, which is down a little bit from last week, about 4 cents cheaper than a week ago. It's also the cheapest in the state again this week. So Amarillo has the lowest gas price average of any of the 27 larger metropolitan areas in the state. So that's good news for drivers looking to have a weekend road trip.
You know, we could be thankful for the low prices that we're paying here in Amarillo. What are some of the highest prices you're seeing today?
Yeah, come over to Dallas where I'm at. We're paying $3.39 this morning. So that's the highest in the state today. Usually we see it in El Paso. El Paso usually has the highest price. They're paying $3.38. So, you know, it's pretty close. Now, California, if you want to go out west, you're looking at over $5 a gallon there. So here in Texas, we're not doing too bad, even if you're paying on the higher end.
So what you're saying is with $5 a gallon, that might as well be half of my rent payment just to fill up a tank of gas. Just absolutely blows my mind to think about. But I mean, but to that point, I mean, obviously we're getting ready to get into the latter parts of spring, getting into the summer months and things of that nature. I'd like to think we have an understanding as to how and why things move the way that they do, especially when it comes to the summertime. Those may be unfamiliar with the cyclical cycle of, you know, we're getting to the fall and winter times, you know, prices get to, you know, 260, 270, whatever the case. Now we're ramping back up to the 280s, 90s, and beyond that, of course. Talk to us about just how and why things move in that regard from a seasonal perspective when it comes to that.
Yeah, so there's a few things. Number one is demand. So demand between spring break and Memorial Day kind of lulls a little bit. So that's why we're seeing prices drop right now. But they will start to go back up as we get into May and we get closer to Memorial Day. So that's one reason. There's also the switch over to summer blend gasoline, which is coming onto the market. That's required by the EPA. It reduces smog, but it's a little bit more expensive to produce. So some of that cost gets passed on to consumers, and we usually see the average price go up 5 to 20 cents statewide. So when we start to see summer blend come on, and we've already seen that. So that's the good news. We've already seen pretty much the effects of summer blend gas. It's now just demand and the cost of crude oil. Now things have calmed down a little bit in the Middle East over the last week or so. We've seen crude oil prices come down about $3 a barrel in the last week. That also helps when it comes to gas prices.
I'm with you. Absolutely. Oh, pardon me.
And it seems like we're almost, at this point, we're almost at the volatility more than anything else of the foreign markets. Am I safe in saying that?
Yeah, Chuck, you know, what happens overseas has a really big impact on what we pay at the pump here in Texas. And so crude oil is the main ingredient in gasoline. If there were some disruption in the crude oil market overseas because of a war or some sort of issue, supply issue, then that would have a trickle-down effect and a domino effect and reach us here in Texas.
Absolutely. Now, I mean, again, we're getting into the summer months and things of that nature. Can't help but think that things could potentially get a little bit worse, for lack of a better way of saying it, before it gets better as far as prices go. But nonetheless, always a blast being able to chop it up with you, Daniel. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. You have a great weekend.